This is not just a story. It's a confession, a warning, and a survival guide for every dreamer who's ever built a life from scratch, only to see it threatened by someone they trusted the most. And what you're about to hear is my true life story. It was supposed to be the happiest season of my life. I had just gotten married, surrounded by family, friends, and a hand-picked wedding committee I thought had my back. But buried in that joy was a silent observer, a familiar name in my contact list who chose silence over loyalty. Someone who forwarded my wedding invitation to the very man who would later accuse me of fraud and trigger a chain of events that ended with me in a police cell. This is the story of how my freedom was almost taken, not by enemies in the streets, but by a spy I welcomed into my inner circle. In this audiobook, you'll walk with me from my wedding day to the cold walls of State CID. You'll hear the names, feel the betrayal, witness the confusion, and uncover how a simple business transaction nearly cost me everything. This is The Spy on My Wedding List, exposing the hidden betrayer who turned my wedding celebration into a legal trap. A true life story. That could happen to anyone. To everyone who has ever been wrongly accused, misunderstood, or betrayed by those they once trusted. May your truth find light, and may your voice never be silenced. And to my wife, for better or worse, your strength taught me to endure. This book is a true life story based on the author's personal experiences, observations, and opinions. While every effort has been made to ensure accuracy, some names, places, and identifying details have been changed to protect the privacy of individuals involved. Any resemblance to real persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental unless explicitly stated otherwise. The content of this book reflects the author's own perspective and does not represent the views of any organization, institution, or government agency. This book is not intended to accuse any individual of a crime without evidence, defame the character of any person or group, violate anyone's right to privacy. Readers are advised to understand that the author is exercising his constitutional right to freedom of expression under his country's law, particularly Section 39 of the 1999 Constitution, as amended. If any part of this work causes concern or appears inaccurate, the author welcomes responsible feedback and corrections. This book is not fiction. It is not exaggerated. It is not a movie script. It is the raw, unfiltered account of a freelancer, a husband, a son, a man with dreams, whose life was turned upside down because of a website job gone wrong. I wrote this story because too many people suffer in silence. Because in my country, being innocent is not always enough. Because a single referral, a simple favor, or a misplaced trust can cost you everything. Your peace, your freedom, and your reputation. I was arrested days after my traditional wedding, detained without proof, questioned over a petition I had never seen, filed by a man I'd never met, over a project I barely remembered. What followed was a whirlwind of cell walls, betrayal, backdoor deals, and bitter lessons. This book is not about revenge. I name no names to attack anyone. I simply tell my truth. If my story makes one digital freelancer more cautious, if it saves one innocent person from being trapped like I was, then this pain wasn't in vain. Welcome to my story, a story of resilience, of betrayal, of faith, and above all, a story of lessons every digital worker, every youth, and every honest hustler must learn. On the 21st of May, 2025, my brother decided to sell his air conditioner through a friend. The friend agreed to help and took the unit to find a buyer. But on getting to the location, he was arrested by the police for attempting to sell an item without a receipt, suspected to be stolen property. Panicking, the friend called my brother. My brother rushed to the station to explain and confirm ownership of the AC. Unfortunately, he hadn't brought the receipt with him. Despite that, the police didn't detain him because of the missing receipt. Something else was at play. When our parents arrived to bail him out, the officers told them bluntly, "We can't release him until we see his elder brother." That elder brother was me. I was shocked and confused when I heard the news. What had I done? Who did I offend? I'm a quiet person, an introvert, a freelancer who works from home. I rarely go out, and I certainly don't involve myself in anyone's affairs. I had just completed my traditional wedding a few days earlier and was preparing for my white wedding. Our parents made frantic calls for help. Through the intervention of a senior police officer, an ACP, I was permitted to go ahead with the wedding ceremony and report to the station on Tuesday, the 27th of May. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it on that day. My wife had fallen sick, and I had to care for her. I eventually reported on Thursday, accompanied by my wife and a lawyer. When we arrived at the station, we were told to wait for the investigating police officer, IPO. When he arrived, he handed me a petition, a document I had never seen before. As I read it, confusion took over. The petition was written against someone named WN. According to the complaint, the petitioner alleged that I had built a Bitcoin trading site for him, defrauded his client of $35,000, $52 million, then blocked him and shut the website down. I didn't even know who the petitioner was. I read the petition again and again, still trying to understand. Then I was asked to write a statement in response. I wrote clearly, "I do not know the petitioner, and I have never defrauded anyone of $35,000. Meanwhile, my brother was still being detained. The IPO asked if I knew anyone named WN. "Yes," I replied, "I know someone with that name." He then asked me to write that the person was my brother. I refused. I explained respectfully that many people could bear the name WN, and there was no proof that the person in the petition was my brother. He insisted. I stood my ground. Tensions rose, and in a moment of shocking aggression, the situation turned physical right in front of my lawyer. I was stunned, not just by the action, but by the silence that followed. No one said a word. That moment marked a turning point for me. I wasn't just a suspect anymore. I felt punished before proven guilty. "So you're denying your own brother?" he shouted. Then he ordered me to remove my footwear. He wrote my detention papers and instructed me to move downstairs into cell 1.